Welcome to NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series, where we focus on how financial advisors work, live, and give to their local communities and our greater financial services industry. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, NAIFA Nation. Welcome to Advisor Today podcast. We're almost through April. So rewind your clock, go back and listen to our last handful of podcasts. We're super excited about where we are and what we're doing. As many of you know, we've relaunched, rebranded the Advisor Today podcast, and you'll see some different people coming around, hanging around. You know, we just recently finished the NFL draft, and we took some time to draft. Our first round draft pick was Kathleen Owens. So Kathleen, as the NAIFA 2025 draft pick, we're happy to have you here on our new team, we're gonna, Zach, we need some Advisor Today jerseys. That would be great.
I would wear that. That'd be pretty fun.
Like the whole podium, man. Come on up, Kathleen.
I'll order some right now.
We'll see if the budget allows. But Kathleen, thanks for being here. We're happy to have you as my part co-host today.
Thanks so much, Chris. It's fun to be here, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation today with Grace.
Okay, wonderful. So Kathleen, would you mind introducing our guest for today's podcast?
I would love to introduce our guest today, Chris. Thanks so much. So today we have Grace Staten, who works with Coastal Wealth. Coastal Wealth is a Mass Mutual firm, and she is the Chief Communications Officer there. In addition to working with producers like myself and Chris, she helps them learn how to position their practices in the marketplace, which we all need help with. I will tell you that. So I'm excited to talk to Grace about how she can help producers and better market themselves. She also directs media relations, branding, advertising, all the important things we need to do to get the word on the street about how we're helping our clients. Grace is also really involved in her community. She's been very involved with Girl Scouts, Junior Achievement, Hope Haven, Child Help. I mean, the list goes on and on. So Grace is pervasive in her volunteer activities outside of what she does. And she is currently the president-elect for NAIFA Colorado. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. And she's been in the industry since 1996, working with Ameriprise, started there. She has a master's in business administration and a bachelor's from San Jose State University. She also has all the number series that we need to get in the industry. She has 6, 7, 24, 63, 66. So Grace is a powerhouse. I'm really excited to have her here today. And thanks so much for being here, Grace.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Grace, it's wonderful seeing you. And thank you so much for your service as a part of NAIFA leadership. You know, it goes unsaid. And many times we don't say enough that thank you, because without people like yourself, this organization wouldn't be where we are today. And we have a long ways to go. But with that being said, we look forward to continuously seeing you and your face in leadership roles as you continue to grow in your career. So with that being said, Grace, share with us a little bit about how you got here. I mean, how did you stumble into the insurance and financial services industry? Did it find you, or did you find it? Tell us your story.
Well, all right. Yes. Again, thank you for having me. So it's an interesting journey I had, and I feel like I owe so much credit to women supporters. Women have helped me throughout the way. So I graduated from San Jose State University in California. And when I was out there, I knew I wanted my major to be in business, but specifically I wasn't sure. And so there was an advisor that I went to that was, she was a full-time financial advisor, and she was also worked with the school. And when I spoke with her, she said, you know what? How about this? If you don't know what you want to do, why don't you work part-time at my office? And her office at the time was called American Express Financial Advisors, which is now, of course, Ameriprise. And so she, got me in there. I worked part-time while I went to college, and I really, really enjoyed it. I started out as an assistant. And I watched different financial advisors do what they had to do, and helped with the support aspect. along the way, I ended up becoming fully licensed and becoming more of a paraplanner role. And so my husband's active duty Navy, so we've moved around, quite a bit. And so ultimately, I ended up in Florida. And when I got here, I was initially working as an advisor, but then the then general agent approached me about going in a marketing role, even though my degree's in finance. And I was like, what in the world? I crunch numbers. I'm good, on the back end. It's just funny how life takes you where it takes you. But I have never looked back. I love this career. I love this industry. So, but it started all out by a woman that I went to for advice about what to major in within business, and her pointing me toward finance, and it's that's been my whole career since then.
So in that pivot, Grace, from those are two, that's kind of left brain, right brain, coming from the finance to the marketing. It's
Yes.
interesting because and you were also licensed. I also find that very interesting. So you've been on both sides of the table. How do you feel that advisors underutilize maybe their marketing professionals or use them well and can better use them?
Yes, I see. I don't think all of the advisors really fully understand how they can properly utilize a marketing professional, because there's so much that one could do with this. I know that we can help with branding and development and positioning them as like a subject matter expert. I know oftentimes, advisors don't necessarily have the time, maybe not even the interest to do something like that. This is absolutely something, to help with the personal branding. And when somebody such as myself is like all in like with this industry and licensed, so I understand the compliance part of it. It's really helped having my series 24, but I understand what is good and what isn't, the disclosure, and also help them get their name out there. There's a variety of things. It's not just about branding, though. One of the key things that I personally do and just did earlier today is help develop a marketing plan, and that's from start to finish, like asking the advisor, helping them with their target markets, the locations they're going to be in. A full complete marketing plan will have things like who they should market to. It will have a source with leads. It will have organizations they can join, and just altogether for like a timeline in there as well of what they can do, and break it down into like bite-sized pieces, if you will, because I know that I'm a big believer in the 12-week year plan. And as you know, you can accomplish so much more if you break down all of the activities that you need to do in smaller pieces. And so we do that within the marketing plan. So we talk about what all they would like to accomplish and how they're going to penetrate these markets and their budget and how is all that going to be put together. So these things take some time from start to finish, but that's something else that I'm not sure if, all the advisors out there are doing that, but that's extremely helpful to do marketing plans. I mean, of course, I can talk about events, event planning, promoting those. That's something else that a marketing professional can help too, from the very, very get-go of getting everything with the compliance paperwork put together, with invitations, to promoting it if it is open to the public, or at least getting in front of the audience that they want it to, and then from there just making sure the whole event is pretty seamless. So that's kind of what we help with, so that the communication, and that they make all of the timelines needed with whether if it's offered like at a restaurant, make sure that is the RSVPs, the invites, all of that is communicated effectively. I know I mentioned branding. I mean, branding isn't not necessarily just social media, but just branding in general. I mean, we have hundreds of pieces that we can like starting from like a client welcome kit that we can create and brand specifically for that particular advisor. even if it's their own DBA and not one that we have, not Coastal Wealth. We are very, very open to helping brand with their own DBAs. I mean, there's so many different things that we could help with, but we are the content creators, and we do try to help a lot, like with thought leadership as well. So there's other things I could go on, but there's just so many things that they should really tap on the shoulder. If they have a marketing person, they really should, you know, ask for help.
So Grace, let me ask a question as if I I've outsourced all of this. It's not a lot, right?
Mhm.
So, but can we go from level 5,000 to level 500 on that? So can you explain
Sure.
the difference between branding and actual marketing? Because our branding and marketing and actual advertising, like it is baffling to me. Well, because I didn't quite understand until I actually hired a group to actually do it. Right? It
Yeah.
needed to have a whole branding and what does it represent and so can you just explain in simple terms? I know you could probably do it in very complicated terms. What is the difference between branding and like just maybe posting on social media and posting? Like, what is the difference
Sure.
between the two? Because there is a clear difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as branding is who you are. Branding is like your mission. It's your values, like even your personality. How you want people to feel when they interact with you. Like, who are you? What do you stand for? How do you want to be remembered? That type of thing. That and to translate that, it's like your logo, any messaging you want, a tagline you want, and the overall like client experience. But marketing is promoting who you are, and that is like how will people find out about you? How do you attract and engage in and convert clients? And what channels do you use to spread the message? So that into translate that would be the social media, the email campaigns, the seminars, the webinars, the advertising, client events, that sort of thing.
So let's go even down to level 100. So that's a lot. Like, so where do you even where do you start? Like, so if I'm a new advisor in the business or an advisor that's been around for a long period of time, but the only way I actually meet clients is by the old school referral way, right? Is that shaking hands and kissing babies. That's what I call it, right? That's the only way I go about doing it. Like, where do you start? Because this seems overwhelming. And then at the same time, since you do have a 24, you can speak to this,
Mhm.
is that the narrative needs to be crafted in a way where it can actually get through the compliance part of it, right? And so,
Mhm.
like, where do you even start? How do you start? Where do you start it?
Well, so initially it was difficult because I started in the role. It transformed over the years, but in the marketing role in 2006. And initially it was a lot of asking the leadership. What do I do? How do I handle this? This is what this person wants. And then speaking with compliance. So what we ended up developing were templates in the beginning that anybody can use. When they come on board, it's like, okay, this is generic enough for anybody. But after you get your feet wet and you get all of the basics done from, some people like trifolds or bifolds or one pagers or like some of the basic things that they would want, their web pages, things like that. Then once they get their feet wet, or if they're come over experienced, then it's about I guess the branding, which is like building the house, the foundation, the design, the feel. We want people to make the marketing more effective. So marketing then would be like inviting them over to come see the what has been created. So I would say the branding is initial that they have to start with. That they have to take a look at what do they want to look like? How do they want the outside world to look at themselves? And then that's where we go back and we look and say, okay, how this is what your vision is. Let me see if I can help craft that vision so that people will want to come and see it.
So it's like building a house and then inviting
Mhm.
people over for a party.
Mhm.
It's like, so I don't know if it's that simple, but the
Yes.
concept was, okay, you have to build a house. What is the experience you have? Is it feng shui when people walk in? Is it
Hmm.
XYZ? And then you have to put it out there and invite people over. You have to send invitations, right? Invite people, right? And you have to invite them to the house so then they can have that experience. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So why do most advisors not do it?
I would say but like you were kind of mentioning, overwhelmed at first. Some people are just not really believers in it. They just think, this isn't applicable to me. I do hear budget. I feel like they don't understand, and it's my job to try to help them understand that you do have to spend money to make money. You do. You can't just always do everything for free. If you're going to penetrate these markets, these target markets, and we're big believers in people having target markets, you can't just even to be able to see them, sometimes you'll have to sponsor an event, or sometimes, even just pay to get in the door to be able to hobnob with some of the people within the target market. So I think that is definitely a reason, but I think some people are just not, they don't think it applies to them, or they just don't want to deal with it and they would rather just work with referrals. I hear that too.
Well, Kathleen, I'm gonna turn it over to you for a second, just one second.
Sure.
But Grace, I, I want to throw it back at you, and I'm going to be the naysayer, the advisor, which
Mhm.
a lot of advisors are stuck in their ways, right? Um, right. Our industry's a little older, right? So they're kind of stuck in their ways. I'm gonna throw it back at you is the idea of this nebulous concept that if I spend a bunch of market money in marketing, how do I know it worked? Because I've heard that before. It's like if I spend this money, how do I know it's going to work? Right. And if it doesn't work, I just wasted money. Right. It's like the catch 22. So what do you say to that? And I'm just asking, you may not have the answer, but you have to spend money to make money. I would agree, or you have to invest money to expect a return. That's how I like to phrase that when they say I spend money and don't make sense. You have to invest money and expect a return. So what do you say to there's no way to measure the success of, say, an email campaign or a campaign that at the time may take 6 months, a year. It may take blah 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 blah. It may take a period of time. What do you say to that? Because we don't have the tangible. It's almost like life insurance. Like we sell it, but people are like, "Does this really work?" Well, they don't know because they're not here when we have to use it, right? But they always know somebody that bought a policy that lapsed it or something, went crazy, and a policy didn't work. So it's kind of this thing. Well, if I don't see it, I don't believe it, right? And so marketing and advertising is one of those. I find myself in a similar thing where my marketing people and my marketing and advertising people come to me on a regular basis and they say, here's the spend. Here's what we need to do to
Mhm.
sponsor this and this. Da, 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 da. And my eyes roll back in my head every time, and I'm like, how do I know it's gonna work? Right? Every time,
Right.
right? Um, but I know that they have good intent. So I just asked that question kindly is what do you say about people that have never seen that they say, I've never seen a ghost before either, but I know it exists. Like, so how do you know that it's working or it works when you can't tangibly put a finger on it and say, I spent this dollar and that is what I got before it happens, right? You have to do it before it happens.
And I appreciate that question because I know that is that way when it comes to what I do and how I prove that I'm moving the needle. So I hear what you're saying, but marketing without measurement is just guessing. So you do have to look at things that drive metrics. And so things like and that we do is website traffic. Is it increasing? With lead generation, are you getting like more qualified prospects in the emails? You mentioned email campaign. Okay, are people engaging in your content? I mean, we look at when we send out recruiting newsletters, we look at who opened and probably even more importantly who clicked, because we want to see what they're looking at and if it's effective or not. The social media, it's not I think the growth is what we look at. We do love the likes, comments, and shares. Don't get me wrong, and even the direct messages, but the growth is what we look at, and we measure that all the time. And then event attendance is another thing I can think of. But I would say, ultimately, are you closing more business? That is a number that we turn to. So after we help with advisors, we will ask, what's improved. We have the ability to look at their what production they have done, and that is very, very key to all of leadership to see what we're doing, and is it making a difference. But I do think you will also see a stronger like brand recognition. Like people will start recognizing your name. I mean, referrals obviously should come in with that, and that your ideal clients are now finding you. That's with the marketing plan, we're pretty thorough with this, because once we have like the target markets, we research the locations in which they want to market, whether it's where they live or where they would like to market. So I think that that's very, very helpful. Are they, these prospects, are they finding you? But I do think with what you're saying, there is, I do see like some of the naysayers, but I think what we do, marketing, I do think we shorten the whole sales cycle. I think based on what I think we move things faster than they would need, regularly be, because you're more heard of. People know who you are and would like to do more business with you since you're penetrating the markets.
To go hand in hand with that question, because I feel the same way. I share with Grace prior to this conversation, when I would hear, let's set up your marketing plan. Oh, my eyes would kind of roll. I just want to talk to clients. I'm a producer. I want to be in front of my target market. Do you have any stories to share where, because that's how we sell, right? We sell really through storytelling. We can give people numbers, percentages, why they need life insurance, why they need disability. Most people don't frankly care, but it's the stories that are most meaningful that usually move that needle. Do you have any stories that you share with producers, what you've seen working with other producers in marketing, where they have worked the plan and then found that success that you may want to share?
This was before the plan was written. We used to administer this test, and I found this very interesting. It's something very similar to Briggs Myers, and we would administer this test to people who had no idea what market they wanted to go into. Now, most advisors do know what they want, but those who just had no idea. There was a gentleman that we had, an advisor that was in a very like remote area of Georgia. And so we had him take this test, and it basically gave him who he would have an affinity to market to. And it ended up one of the top ones was farming, which he had never crossed his mind that he would do. This ended up being such a success story because we developed a plan around farming as one of his target markets. And I'm telling you, it was so successful. Even though he was from this small town, he started getting in and understanding, like, I guess the lingo that farmers use. And then he would attend his meetings no joke, in cowboy boots and a hat. And he slowly but surely was accepted as one of them. And it was all based on something like, you know, that he didn't even think that he would want to market to, and it was just based on something, how he responded to questions. And they said, well, try and we were just like, try this, and he did. And it is still his main target market to this day. And it's just, you know I would say that that's probably a success story that came, that sticks out in my mind from years ago.
So you're saying, I think many times the advisors, when we think marketing, we have an idea in our mind what it is, but it's what I'm hearing you say is to be open-minded and to be
Yes.
open to explore different markets. Maybe he thought he wanted to go into business owners. I don't know. That's a very common one, but who knew he was into farming, and he had an open mind on that. So that's really interesting.
So Kathleen,
Yes. So many people want to do just small business owners, but that's just, too broad. When we went into farming, we actually delved it even further than that. But I sometimes people go too broad. They'll just say doctors, and that's just, you'll be all over the place if you're, that broad of a market.
Or women. You hear that. I market to women.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Right.
that's you guys have gone taken us on a little bit of a journey. I think the way in which most people started in the business that have been in the business for a long period of time, there used to be the advertising part that was newspapers. There used to be large companies doing marketing with like these 4 or 5 advisors are the local advisors for, say, Prudential or Northwestern, or whatever. They would put in publications, things like that. We see less of that now in more engagement marketing, like LinkedIn and you know um, podcasts and things like that. So I want to ask the question. Um, Tell us about podcasts, because obviously that's something that is, we're fortunate enough to be on one. So this is a form of advertising for our wonderful association of NAIFA. But um, tell us how this is playing into not just the static post. So I 2 parts of that question. And I was told by my marketing person a while ago that 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 the static post does not get as much attention and does not get as much traction as a post where it's actually engaging, even if it's just you saying something about something that's already in the public, right? It's just the nature of the beast. So many times people will say, well, I set up my marketing system, and they say, these static posts that go out, they're like, but people don't click them. And in the moment they actually do a a live something or whatever it may be, it may just be like a quick video or something like that, it blows up. So tell us the role of the distinct, like what do you tell people the difference like to do between those two, and then the role of like podcasts nowadays, because they're everywhere and everybody's doing them. How do you integrate those into like a financial service practice? If
Sure. So as long as what you say becomes approved, you're able to do it, where we work. So, I mean, you're 100% correct. So, static posts just don't do it anymore. They're good as filler if you're wishing, like, happy holidays or something of that nature. But podcasts, and even if where you're speaking is really where it's at, it is so much more effective, and it builds trust faster. Because I know that when people see you as human, you're more relatable, and you're definitely more knowledgeable. So you want to be seen as the go-to person. Like if you are, say, you're you tend to give retirement planning advice, over financial planning. Let's just say you want your podcast to be seen as you're the go-to person for retirement advice. So I would say first of all, it expands your reach. There, no question. You'll have new audiences if you do, podcasts. But I know with us, with our social media, 100%, when we have videos or reels, those will get clicked on, commented, and shared more than anything else. When you really, when you think about TikTok, for example, I know my kids. I'll ask them to do something and I'll walk in 30 minutes later and they are just, staring at the screen because it's so captivating. And I think that's the same way that even though this might not be the funnest topic of say insurance and financial services, I do think I have seen enough people in our industry that do something on camera that they will garner so many more, so much more attention and a bigger audience just because they are on the podcast. People see them. And I can't stress that enough that we would much prefer any day of the week as a firm to have some kind of a video, whether it be podcast or a something that we've done. Like for example, last Friday we did a beach cleanup, the entire firm in a couple of different locations. It was so much more effective to have, instead of a post of just people standing, of just a variety of action going part video, that sort of thing. So but I can't stress enough how much more of an impact you will make.
And I was told, Grace, by the way, she says, don't make it perfect. She goes, you actually become more relatable when it's not perfect. I wanted to put the suit on and I wanted to come, Kathleen, I wanted to put the suit on and show up.
That's right. You want to have the pin, the hair.
Perfect. And she's like, kill that. And I'm like, what is going on here? Right? That's how we were taught that this is supposed to be. She goes, no, I don't want it perfect. She goes, I want you just to sit down at your desk, put your phone there, turn on a light, and I want you to just, she goes, talk to me about AI. And she literally cut it up. It took me like 3 minutes. She asked the question, do you think AI is going to be significant in the financial service field? I didn't talk about insurance. I didn't talk about investments. I just talked about the role of an advisor and how we work with clients and we deliver death claims. We are there when things are difficult. That's all I did. Right. And it's like, she's like, this is great. This is the best thing you've ever did. I go, this is the least amount of money I've ever spent. Right? And so it's just one of those things where I think learning and being open and curious to how this works, I think that's kind of a unique opportunity, that learning this new process of engaging people in financial services is different than it used to be.
It 100% humanizes you. It humanizes your brand. I mean, even just your voice, the way you speak, if there's humor, all of that will create a personal connection. And a text and advertising, that just like a static one, just can't match that. It just can't. People want to do business with people that they trust, that they think they know, and definitely who they like. So that helps create the bond.
Kathleen, I'm advertising now. I mean, I can ask advertising questions all day.
Well, I think it is interesting. My business partner and I started doing videos in 2020 because we thought, oh my gosh, we need to be talking to people more and engaging. People are very nervous. They were very scared about what's going on. Well, fast forward to now 2025, still doing those videos. Some days I get up, we do one a week. Some days I get up, I have no idea what I'm going to say. And those are some of the best ones because I talk about a book or an article I read or something going on in my life. I think, to your point, Grace, it humanizes you, makes you feel more real, because they do see, the perfect little pictures on About Us and our company, and all of our companies kind of say the same thing, to be quite honest, at the end of the day. So you want to set yourself apart. Well, the only way you could do that is by sharing yourself and your story and your voice and the video. So we've been doing those and they're actually kind of fun. I mean, I have some clients that are looking every single week, replying. During COVID, my hair got really long. I had some clients say, we wanted to see how long your hair was. I don't know if they listened to what I said at all. I just want to see how long was Kathleen's hair this week. So it's interesting in the engagement and just a different level of personal touch, I feel like that's done for us. And I think a lot of advisors hear that and they don't want to do it. Chris, you've been doing the video for a while now. I've done videos and podcasts, and people think, oh, I don't want to hear my voice. I don't like the way I look. No one does. Okay. No one likes their voice. Everyone's hypercritical. But for us, it's been a better touch point with our clients and people seeing me, or they'll, recognize me, say, oh, I saw your video last week. Sometimes I forget I do them. But it's been interesting to explore that. And I'm interested to hear, Grace, so videos are key. What other technology or things are you seeing in the future that are helpful for marketing for advisors?
Oh, wow. I don't even know if we've gotten everything that can happen with AI yet. I know that, I mean, it's here, it's now, it has been so, helpful in so many things that, we do, whether it's, helping with the content that we used to just spend like hours and hours doing. And now it's just a matter of minutes. I mean, that these things can be done. And just with the the videos and the editing, and we don't need to be as dependent on so many people anymore. Things are just becoming more and more convenient. I embrace 100% of this, and I know I don't know everything that it can do yet. I know that we do as much as we can with it, and of course get it approved. And but it's been just, I would say, stay tuned, because I don't know everything yet. I know that I am on every single course or webinar that you can think of, just to see what's out there, and all the apps that are available, and what makes my life easier with even with NAIFA and our reaching our membership. That's another thing, is we have absolutely found, Cheryl has kicked this off this year, I'm going to keep doing it, is when we promote for Day on the Hill, for example, people will look when you put it out there and you speak to it. You have some testimonials of people who have done it. All of this, that makes so much more of an impact in our newsletters and what we push out. So I can't wait to see everything that it can do.
I will say something I heard is that it's transformative, and it'll change the way we go about doing business if we embrace it. And so that's really telling, the fact that you're on all the things. And so I'm not sure we even can comprehend, right, to the extent in which it's thinking as fast as, like, they said that somewhere between 75 to 100 years of technology is going through in like a day. I'm like, what? Like, so just think about how fast this is moving. 5 years from now, we'll look back and say, oh, that was like DOS prompt, right? That was easy.
Yes.
And so I think it's transformative in a way where everyone should be embracing it at some level in their practice. And advertising and marketing, branding, creating a unique brand and a brand experience. The reason why people go to Starbucks is not for the coffee. People say the best coffee is not at Starbucks, is because what they call the Starbucks experience. So if you've never heard of that, you can Google that. What's the Starbucks experience, right? And someone even said that back in the day, they used to pump, the one in Seattle, they used to pump the whole smell of coffee through the vents to make you feel like you were surrounded by just different scents of coffee, and it hit all the senses. And I'm like, wow, right? The whole experience is that you could walk in one way, but you had to figure out how to get out, like the whole Starbucks experience. So I think we have to create a unique experience for our clients, because there's a lot of changes happening and a lot of opportunity for them to choose a bunch of different places. But what makes them choose you is great. So Grace, let's shift towards NAIFA and your involvement. How did you find NAIFA, or NAIFA found you, if you don't mind?
So So when I was working, gosh, this was in the 90s. Like, oh no, let me think about this. I had heard about NAIFA from the beginning and didn't think it was applicable to somebody like me. I was in the industry, but I thought you had to be only a financial advisor to go. And I remember the first time I was invited to go to a meeting, actually at the time, my managing partner was the incoming president. And I'll never forget going and just being like, whoa. First of all, I just walked into the room, how many people were in there, and just kind of blown away by that. And then as far as like leadership goes, just was asked. That's all it took, was just asked. And my husband was, he actually just recently retired, but he was active duty Navy. And so I've been on a couple different boards in California and now in Florida. And it's been such a great experience. I did want to mention, though, this is kind of interesting, and I don't know if other state chapters are like this, but we are going to have 4 back-to-back female presidents. Our immediate past president, our current president, me, I'm president-elect, and who will be slated after me will be another female president. Just interesting to note. I don't know if it's a world domination, with women, but it's kind of it's kind of interesting how, when I walked into that room I was telling you about with, hundreds, it was primarily men. So I find this very interesting, things are turning this way.
That is interesting, Grace. It's great to see, because we talk about that, where we need to have, more diversity, more women in the business. So it's encouraging to hear that. As president-elect, what are some initiatives that you're excited about in NAIFA, Florida? What are some, you talked about one that you're going to continue, that Cheryl Canzanella, friend of the podcast, has been on. But what are some things you're excited about?
So I would think that right now, my 2 initiatives, obviously marketing will be one of them, and continuing on some of the things that Cheryl is doing. I'm going to automate some of the things that she is doing. Again, this is, AI, embrace it, with people that come on board, as well as I definitely want to get people, when they're new and happy and exciting, grab them while you can. Don't, overdo it, but get them excited about why they're there, and get them talking about why they are there. I think that goes a long way. But I think also another initiative I'd like to do is retention. And I do think it is less expensive to keep who you have than it is to recruit. And that is big to me, because I think that there's some people that, that they feel forgotten. And I certainly don't want anybody to feel forgotten. So particularly some of the older members, kind of, dust things off, and, go and find where they are, who they are, talk to them, see, what can be done for them, make sure that they're okay, and they're still feeling strongly about their membership. I think, because that goes a long way too. There are people that are in my local area that, once you say somebody that's been, like, in the industry for years and everybody knows, if you say that you know him, everybody's like, okay, I don't need any more, further introductions. This person is everything. So, if pull them in and get their support, I feel like, they will continue to rally behind NAIFA, and they will also, make referrals to, I think the recruiting will come if the retention is there. And that's really what I would like to focus on. Marketing, who knows, the sky's the limit with all of this. NAIFA National does such a good job, but I think that with me, I would like to focus where they can't focus, which is on specifically our members, and get to them to tell their stories or testimonials, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think getting someone like yourself who has a different, because you're an advisor, okay?
I am licensed to be an advisor. I'm fully licensed, and but I just happen to have a staff role.
Yeah, but for all practical purposes, you could turn on the spigot tomorrow and sell an insurance or investment product. So
yes,
just you're not in that you're not wearing that jersey as we speak today, right? So
Mhm.
I think it's important, because I sit on the other side of that fence, and many times I'm listening to people talk about, specifically from corporate offices, right? The big corporate offices, let's call it the towers, where they hire a third party consulting group. Like, that's never done. It is done all the time, right? They'll say, well, we're working on a national marketing campaign, and this is how it's going to unfold in your city or in your location. Um, the pushback I've always had is that we are the best story you could ever invest in. And part of that is people want to work with people that they feel comfortable with, right? People in their community, people they like, people they respect, people they care about, people that will be there when they need them the most, right? And so I'm challenged by that I understand the national brand and the commercials at the Super Bowl and the NCAA having the floor and all those, for brand awareness. But those brands just don't sell themselves. It's the conversations of Kathleen, myself sitting down at the table, and or possibly having dinner, or even just them coming to our office and them breaking down their lives and saying why they feel like they messed it up financially and why they feel like they need some help. They need someone to hold their hand through the process. And I think I'll say that NAIFA as an organization, we have to do a better job. And this is a call on all NAIFA members, is that can you imagine if we had a day where every NAIFA member did a 20-second post on, or 10 seconds fine, and then did a 10-second on why NAIFA is the bomb.com. It's the best place. You can't miss it. It's gotta be, right? Everybody did that in one day. Just one day, right? Do you know how crazy that would go in our social media space? Just simply because it would like tap every algorithm on the planet, because it's coming from so many different places and it's saying so many different things. And we may break the internet if it happens, but it would just be a unique way for us to market how cool NAIFA is. And I think people like yourself thinking outside the box, like, yeah, that would be kind of, I see your, like the things going up. You're like, oh, that would be kind of
cool.
Right?
I love it.
See, Kathleen, I'm kind of creative a little bit.
Like that idea. I like it.
A little bit.
Make it viral.
And I think that inviting people in for that NAIFA experience and seeing people like yourself who are willing to step up and to lead will inspire other people to do the same. So, one, thanks for NAIFA finding you and you finding NAIFA. So I have to ask a real question. What scares you the most about being the prez? You're going to be the president in a minute. Like, what are you going to do? Right. What are you either afraid of, or what are you looking forward to? Both of those.
I actually don't know if I'm afraid of anything, but I have already, and I don't even take the helm until January 1st, but I've already built out a business plan and a marketing plan for this. I'm excited more than just about anything about what I would like to do and how, and some of it takes pre-planning. For example, this cruise that we're having coming up in July, and I need to, like, if we're doing it a second time, it needs to be booked pretty quickly here. So there's things that I have, in mind that I just need to put together now and have like a game plan ready. So I hit the ground running, and I would say just more excited than just about anything. I think I've just been around many of the people long enough that if I was once scared about, speaking to somebody or what things would look like, I don't think I do anymore. So I guess that's a good thing.
All right. Well, let's speed to the speed round. Kathleen, I'm going to let you kind of run the speed round, if you don't mind.
I don't.
And what this is, Miss Grace, is that this is an opportunity for people at NAIFA to get to know you and get to know, when they see you, they typically always remember some of these things because we actually have this podcast and it's on many different platforms. And all the ones you can think of, Spotify, Apple Music, it's on all of the good ones, right? And so YouTube. And so we ask you questions, and the key to this is it's called a lightning round. The key to this is whatever comes top of mind, that's what it is, right? This is not deep thought conversation. It's just quick. It's a quick.
Okay.
It's 4 or 5 questions, and then we'll open it up for NAIFA Nation. If you have something you want to address, speak about, say to NAIFA Nation. We'll open it up to that, and then I'll close it down. So, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Kathleen, take it away.
Okay, I'll kick it off. Maybe, hopefully, a little bit of a softball question. But one of your favorite books, Grace? What's a favorite book that you have that you recommend to folks?
I mean, one that shook me up is Lean In, Sheryl Sandberg, just because it was eye-opening to see how much women aren't doing it, and how I actually believe more should.
Okay, thanks. I like that one too.
Favorite movie?
This is tough, but I am all about something that is inspirational. But I guess this is all about women. I'm sorry about this, but it's about breaking barriers. And the first one that comes to mind, because I did Lily, is Hidden Figures.
Hey, this is a good movie.
That is a very good one. Yeah. And also a book. Describe, if you had perfect day, what would your perfect day look like?
Ooh, I would start off running. I love to run, and so that gets me going for the whole day. I just love that. But if it's a weekday, then I mean, it would just be accomplishing as much as possible during the day. I don't like leaving things outstanding, and I know it happens more often than I'd like, but I really like seeing the to-do list going down, down, down. And same thing with the emails or whatever is outstanding. But I think what really gets me going is just the exercise, running in particular. I very much enjoy it.
Your favorite food?
Anything with salmon.
Anything with salmon.
I love salmon. That's my last meal, I hope.
All right, my last question. There may be one more for you, but my last question is if you can go back and have dinner with anybody in history, whether they're alive today or they're no longer with us, they can be famous, they could be family, it doesn't matter. Who would you choose and why?
I mean, the first person that comes to mind, I guess, would be Jesus. I guess I don't know of any specific questions right now, but I would have been, I mean, I guess I just don't know how life on Earth was when he was here. And so I think I would just want to talk. I mean, I don't know if any kind of specific questions, but it's just everything that's done. And I am a religious person, so I guess I'd be the first person that comes to my mind.
All right, Kathleen, do you have one more?
I do have one more. Grace, what do you have, like maybe a mantra or something that kind of guides you, or some advice that someone gave you that sticks in your mind and gets you going every day?
Yeah, there is one, and I mean, there was actually more than one, but I know it has to do with is success. Let me think about this for a second. It's the one that's Winston Churchill. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Sorry,
I might have stumped you on that one. That's okay. Take your time.
It's okay. Oh, here it is. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. That's it. And I completely agree with this. Having children, you have to, watch them fail, basically. You can't always be the saving person. And the same thing with myself. There's been so many things I've had along the way where I didn't look at it at the time as, as this is a learning lesson, but it absolutely was. And I'm glad. I mean, everything does happen for a reason, and it happens in the time that it's supposed to happen. So I think, failure is not necessarily, a fail, and it definitely isn't fatal. So, picking yourself up and moving on is really what counts.
I like
That's
it.
great. Yeah, so do I. Thanks, Grace.
So, Grace, would you please grace? Don't play on words there, right? Would you grace NAIFA Nation with some words before we close?
Well, let's see. I'm extremely honored that you asked me to be a part of this podcast, and I can't tell you, I mean, how much I believe in NAIFA, and I cannot wait for stepping into the role. I think that this is one of the greatest organizations that you could be a part of, for so many reasons, because of what they do for our industry. When we go all come together on Washington D.C. and what we do on Day in the Hill, and the networking, and maybe even like one of the more important things is the friendships I have made. I mean, some of the people I have made friends with, I know they would do anything, for me, and I would do anything for them. It's just, it's been so impactful for myself and my career. And I mean, I will always be a part of this group. I just think the world of it. And what keeps me, going is, while I am fully licensed, I don't have to be a financial advisor, and go up the ranks. I mean, I have so much, passion for this whole organization, and they believe in me too. And I don't get that in so many other places I go to volunteer my time. They believe in me as much as I believe in them, and that just means everything.
Grace, we're fortunate for you to be here. We're definitely fortunate for you to be stepping into the role of leading from the front. And we look forward to seeing all the wonderful things. And we might be tapping you for just ideas, quick hitters. What, should we be doing something quickly? Like, what should we be doing? I think the idea of just something unique, right? Even at congressional conference, right? If you're there, just hey, let's get alive for like 10 seconds. Hey, what do you think of NAIFA? Hey, why are you here? Just kind of something cool. I think it's always always good and great to do something that's unique, a unique experience for people.
You just made me think of something. Is I'm actually bringing my almost 14-year-old daughter. She will go with me to some of the meetings. This is how much I believe in this organization. And she's very excited about it too. So, I mean, her goal is to go to one of the service academies, probably Naval Academy. So she is so like, excited about coming. So that's how much I believe in. And if not, if she doesn't, then I hope she falls in line and becomes a financial advisor someday.
I think that's very cool, Grace. Although I do have to say one thing, and that's go Army, beat Navy. My husband and I both went to West Point. I will tell you, very quick story. I was 14 when I decided West Point was the school that I wanted to go to.
Nice.
It's the only school I applied to. So I think that's great that she has her set sight on that, because it was, for me, it was one of the best things I ever did. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I think that's really neat that you're bringing her along for this experience as well.
Yes. Yes, I can't wait.
Kathleen, do you have anything else for the greater good?
NAIFA, I just want to say, listen to what Grace had to say. Marketing, we might poo-poo it, not think it's important, and we just want to be in front of clients. But there is a lot to be said for paying attention to your marketing plan, digging into your branding, and there's professionals out there like Grace who can help you. So I hope you got some nuggets from Grace today. I know I did, and really dig into it. And then, Grace, I want to thank you for your dedication to NAIFA, and now stepping up as president-elect for Florida. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
All right. With that being said, I'll close us out. Thanks for tuning in to Advisor Today podcast, where we bring the voice of the advisor back to you, our collective contingency. So next week, same time, same place. We're right on the cusp of congressional conference. If you're not booked, then make sure you get booked to go. Don't miss this opportunity to show up, and we show out, and we make sure that our voice is heard in DC. So see you around. Thanks, Kathleen, for being here with me and helping. Thanks, Grace. We appreciate you. And thanks, NAIFA Nation. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Grace.
Thanks for joining us for NAIFA's Advisor Today podcast series. Make sure to subscribe to get future episodes. And if you're interested in coming on the show, let us know.